wasn't sure if I can do it on camera, but we're having a little bit of a drive issue. It's definitely that Seagate. I'm waiting for it to trigger CDI with an error. It just started happening now. I just rebooted the system for an update. At 4 o'clock in the freaking morning. Why is this in work offline mode? It shouldn't be in work offline mode. It should be in online mode. Yes, of course I do. Holy crap. It does not want to do this, and it's fairly obvious. It's like the computer version of Occupy Wall Street. Found a bad sector. Okay, at least it's beyond the 60 some odd gigabytes that I had. It seems to be having some issues reading as well. Like for a little stretch there, it was all like error. And let me tell you what. The noise that this stupid thing makes when it finds an error is downright irritating. It's supposed to be a beep, but on this machine it comes out sounding sickly. And it always comes out of the speaker no matter what is plugged in to the headphone port. And yes, this pair of headphones is broken. It got caught around my chair and it snapped. You can see it right here. It snapped this end off. It's not the first time that something like that's happened. If I really wanted to, I could probably fix it. Do I want to? No. It's a cheap pair of headphones that doesn't even work, so screw that. I'll just use it as a sound muter. And I'll get myself another decent pair of headphones that actually work. There is a problem here. It's not a problem enough to cause errors, but still a problem. There we go. So there's that really annoying noise I was talking about. I'll tell you what, that is definitely really annoying. It's supposed to be a beep, but it's actually going... It sounds really sickly. I don't know why. Obviously, it doesn't work very well. It's not in as good health as it should be. So I was thinking that this might be able to be done by the time I am ready. As you can see, the arrow indicator's turned red, which means it's found some bad spots. Or maybe it'll put it down as a warning, I don't know. Either way, it's not good. So, yeah, it's not good. It means that there has been a problem. Controller failure? What's going on? That's interesting. It's not advancing that counter at all. I wonder if this drive is bad. I don't hear any odd noises. That's interesting. It's very interesting. We'll see if it works at all when anything tries to happen in the future. Alright, so what you are witnessing is the complete failure of a hard drive. Yes, I'm going to exit. It's a really dreary day outside. This kind of isn't very satisfying either. It has failed a long test. Let's run a self-test. Yeah, they're both self-tests, but let's run a short test. We'll see if and when it fails that. So here's a list of all the failures. So First we ran HNet2, we ran the read-read-compare test, which is a test that is used to find and detect bad sectors, not to repair them, but to detect them. Started off with some cyclic redundancy check errors, some problems like that, and then we just eventually got to a controller failure. It failed the compact long test with that error code, and it has just failed the compact short test, as you can see here. You may have also seen it, but this is the last test that I'm going to be running. ctools. This is Seagate's own testing utility. This will give me a code that I can submit along with an RMA, should this drive be under warranty, which it should be. I don't see why it wouldn't be. So this is FreeDOS, by the way. So what it should be doing now is it should be attempting, or it's going to run ctools. Here we go, ctools, license agreement. Oh, apparently the mouse doesn't work. Interesting. Drive scan complete. Basic tests, long test. So we're going to run a long test and we're going to see how it does. Isn't very often that I have to do this to my own hardware. But I do. You're wondering, what the heck is this? Well, this is that WD Elements drive that was having problems. Don't know why I took it apart, but I did. Because I thought it was supposed to be actually replaceable, but obviously not. It's totally custom. And good luck finding the part. But listen to this when I power plug it in. Listen to the drive. Whoops. Yeah, not so good, is it? So, what we're going to do is we are going to boot it off of this in a second. I'm going to see if I can possibly get the data off of it. It's the first time a drive has ever taken data with it. God damn, that LED is bright. The camera doesn't even do justice to it, but that is freaking bright. So first of all, I'll get a chance to see if this actually works. Boot Linux system to X. And it shut itself off. Let's see here. We'll say boot to X 32-bit. That sounds kind of terrible. There are videos on there that I would love to get back, but they're not important, so if I lose them, what do I care? Which is probably the reason why I didn't have backups to begin with anyways. Now also keep in mind that I wouldn't have lost them if that stupid Seagate drive hadn't failed either, which you will hopefully have seen by now. Yeah, it totally just gave up. I don't think I'm going to have much luck with this. This isn't going to work. I've been able to recover drives that have almost failed before. But at least that was to the point where I could still read the data. This, I can't even read the data. So, well, we'll see. We will definitely see. You don't have a US keyboard. No? I don't know. Good enough, I guess. Okay, so the mouse works. Setup, system monitor, mount, unmount. Let's see if we can access anything. We try mounting this. Mount. Okay. So it's finding the drive. That's good. Open with PCman FM. SDA2. Oops, wrong drive. SDA1. SDB1. I don't see the drive at all. Oops. Ha, kernel panic. That's unfortunate. So that was a rip-roaring failure. To the shelf of death with you. Now let's go on a little bit of a rant here. So I'm warning you right now. If you don't want to listen to me ranting about something that may or may not be trivial, then disappear, because you're going to hear it. You know, usually I can excuse a product manufacturer for having a defect in a particular product because, hey, it happens. But what I can't excuse are the recertified drives that have issues, that don't work. They obviously do not do a very good job at checking their stuff before they send it out the door. And when they do send it out the door, they send it in packages like this one. Check this out. Pretend this drive is in shipping. This drive has ample opportunity to bounce around, as you can very clearly see. So maybe that was the cause of the problem. Maybe it's UPS's fault. I don't know. I don't care. Either way, you ship me a bad product. This is the replacement. I'm not dealing with RMA again. I'll tell you why. The RMA survival rate that I have is abysmal. This is the enclosure, by the way, which weighs nothing. Oops. Trash. It weighs absolutely nothing, that enclosure. But my RMA rates, I've sent back roughly 50 drives in, well, a long time, obviously. But I've sent back roughly 50 drives. Of the replacements, of the replacements, and yes, it has gone here, the replacements. 5 or 6 of them have survived over all these years. That is terrible. But it speaks volumes for the fact that they don't check their stuff before they send it out. This, I don't even know what's wrong with it. Obviously, it's a mechanical problem. Okay, so I do know what's wrong with it. But as to the exact problem, I have no idea. Something like this kind of a problem, should never exist. And even before it has these kinds of problems, it was bricking itself. Well, okay, maybe not bricking, but it was just not working sometimes. It would work sometimes, and it wouldn't work others. Clearly, that's a problem. I should have, if I were smart, realized that, yeah, there's an issue, backed up all my stuff off of it, and sent it back again. But because it wasn't important data, I didn't. Big mistake. Doesn't really matter right now. It doesn't work at all. It caused, as you just saw, it was very likely the cause of the kernel panic on there in Linux, which isn't very good. So, but yes, WD is not the only person, not the only company that has had this problem before. Seagate has this problem. Hitachi has this problem. What's the other company? Toshiba has this problem. None of them check their stuff before they send it. They don't send it in proper packaging. Well, okay, I can probably excuse Seagate because this is Seagate's packaging, so this actually is pretty good. Good on you, Seagate. Bad on you, Western Digital. This is the worst packaging I've ever seen. Honestly, a major manufacturer can get something as simple as packaging wrong. Granted, they probably make many RMAs, and this is probably the first time that they're ever going to hear of a problem like this. If they ever even hear of it. I'm not going to talk about them anymore. But this WD Elements drive that's up there, that was the last external WD drive I've ever purchased. I am going back to Seagate on that one. Because at least with Seagate's, those actually work. In terms of their external drives, well, I probably shouldn't say that. Because I've actually had more problems with Seagate external drives. I've only owned one. And it kind of died after about a year, not even a year of use. It was that one. Right there. That was a 320 gigabyte when it was brand new. That drive failed. Actually, it failed at my grandparents' house when I was there for the week. And it kind of died halfway through, and I lost a whole bunch of crap. That was the first time I'd ever lost any data. Well, important data. Well, it really wasn't important. Okay. That was the first time when I ever lost data. That's the first time I've lost data. That, well, like my files, not like in terms of operating. Okay. Anyways, let's move on before I start wanting to contradict myself. That was the second time I've lost data. And actually, there is about maybe a 2-year span between them. So that's not that long. Maybe I'll learn from this. I should learn from this. Back up your freaking data, man. Anyways, that said, it shouldn't have ever even got to that point. Western Digital should have known that there was something up with the drive. And if they didn't, they should have subjected it to tougher testing. If something like this, I'm not the only person. I have heard more than one accounts or more than one descriptions of this same exact problem that I was experiencing before the mechanical issues. More than one. So I'm not the only one. Of the same problem. There's an issue with that. If this is a recurring thing, it's the same problem. You'd think that maybe they'd be able to check for it. Or they'd help, like actually retool themselves to be able to check for this problem. But no, apparently that's just way too difficult. Answer me this, WD. Answer me this, Seagate. Answer me this, Hitachi. Answer me this, Toshiba. Answer me this, big manufacturers. You can send millions of drives out. You can slap a recertification label on something. You can replace the controller card. You can replace the mechanicals. Is it really that hard to subject them to rigorous testing to find these kinds of problems? I don't think so, but it must be pretty hard because nobody seems to do it. Alright, let's go on another little rant here. This one's going to be fun. Maybe no, I might not get my point across, but this one is going to be a lot of fun because, oh, this is so irritating, and it's irks me even more and more as I continue to think about it, because this is just bewildering. I'm not usually one to call out a manufacturer on a particular product, or products, or product line, and usually I can see where they're coming from. I can go like, okay, this is what they were thinking, this is why it was brought to market. I may not agree with it, but I can see where they're coming from. Every once in a while, there is a product that comes along, or a product line that is introduced that I come into contact with, where I just have to sit there and go, why did this even need to exist? Here's one for you. The WD Elements line of external hard drives. Why the hell did this even come to market? I'm not saying they're a bad drive per se. I've only ever had 2 of them. Both of them failed. But that's not to say they're a terrible drive and you shouldn't buy them. But my question is, why did this line need to even exist in the first place? Because, get this. Okay, I'm going to look this up. I'm curious to know how many they actually have. I do know that they have the My Passport drive. They have their external line of My Passport drives. I don't know what the hell just happened here. Anyways, they have the My Passport line of drives. These are nice drives. They're sleek, they're thin, they're usable. What else do they have? Portable drives. Let's go in terms of portable drives. What do they have here? They have the My Passport and the Elements. Okay. How about in terms of desktop drives? what do they have? The Elements and the My Book. So they have the My Book, the My Passport, and now the Elements drives. I'm not sure which one came to market first, but let's just be safe and assume, because I haven't seen these Elements drives at all until very recently. Let's just assume that the My Book and the My Passport came out before the Elements drive. If that's the case, you have a portable drive already, a desktop drive already. Why the hell did you need to make another? You had to retool your factories to make these. This isn't even a standard drive. In fact, you know what? I'm curious now. I have a Toshiba hard drive right here. That's IDE. What is this? That's Hitachi. I don't want anything to do with it. A Toshiba drive that is IDE right here. What is the height difference? They're the same height. Give or take a little bit. This is not a standard height drive, because this isn't. This definitely is not a standard height drive. This is a really old drive, too. When was this made? Oh, it doesn't even say. Okay, whatever, doesn't matter. Anyways, that is not standard height. So that makes this a non-standard height. It also makes this a non-standard board, because everything is built into this piece of crap. The LED, the interface, everything. This is non-standard. So you had to retool your factories to make these. You had to retool your factories to make the enclosures. I don't know how much it costs, because I'm not a manufacturer. I am going to make the very honest assumption that it probably costs a lot of money to make new molds for this stuff. I don't think it's cheap to make metal molds, or plastic molds, or whatever they use. It's not cheap, trust me. I'm pretty sure that it's not cheap. But you did it anyway. You didn't need to. It was an unnecessary expense. I don't see why these stupid things even need to exist, because it's the same damn thing as what's already there, so why does it even need to exist? In fact, you know what? It's worth the desktop Elements drive is worse than the MyBook. So, what's the point? Like, holy crap. This thing did not need to exist. This is just downright terrible. I don't understand the point of this product line at all. Is it supposed to be more affordable? I don't think so, because the irony is that this my passport right here cost about as much then when I bought it as this did now. In fact, I think it even cost less than what it did to buy this. Which, okay, makes sense, because this is only a 320 gig drive, but keep in mind the prices back then. The prices are going down right now. A 500 gig drive should, in theory, cost about as much as a 320 did then. This costs more. Like, a lot more. I'm not talking a little bit. We're talking at least 20 bucks more to buy this as opposed to something like that. What the freak is the point? Sure, it brings in money, but why did something like this even need to exist? You could have just made, like, I don't know, put a higher performance drive inside a My Passport enclosure and call it like a My Passport Enhanced or something. That would have been so much easier, because you already have the drives, and you already have the enclosures, you already have the tools available to you. You didn't need to retool your factories to make these or these. There was no point to it. And thus there is no point to the WD Elements line. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy it. This is not a product review, because I can't really give an honest product review because I haven't had an actual working sample. Honestly, when they work, they're pretty good. I can't complain about the performance they give when they actually work. The problem is they only work when they want to, which is kind of unfortunate, because I'm actually sick and tired of products only working when they want to. But I guess that's the way the ball crumbles. That made no sense. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Not editing that out. screw that. Yeah. I suppose that's my really huge rant as to why something like this should never have existed to begin with. Because 0 point. Absolutely 0 point. No. Bad.